gremlins! This was not the video I was planning to make this week, but I found this plain green t-shirt in a thrift store a few days ago, and I want to paint a frog design on it. Before I pull out my paints, I need to decide exactly what frog design to paint. I took a photo of this shirt and began sketching ideas digitally. A few of these designs are ones I've thought of before but haven't used yet, others I came up with today. My favourite sketch was the top right, a sketch of 3 very round frogs stacked on top of each other. I've had this design in my mind for months now, and I finally had an opportunity to use it. I polished up the sketch with some outlines in colour, although these are not the colours I ended up using in the physical art. Then I got my paints out. Previously, when I've painted clothing, I've done it in stages, sometimes all in one day, and other times taking days, letting layers dry between each step. However, today I painted the whole design in one sitting. I started with the top frog, also the smallest of the 3. I mixed up a yellowish-green colour paint, adding fabric medium to make this art form comfortable to wear and laundry safe, then started filling out a sketch I made off camera. Compared to the last shirt I painted on the channel, this was simple. I painted the frogs in flat colours, with outlines painted in the same paint with a little black added to darken it. There were barely any overlapping shapes I had to be careful of, and no extremely detailed blocks of colour that take a long time to paint. I left painting the eyes and mouths of these frogs for the end, so once the faceless top frog was painted, I moved on to the middle frog. In my digital sketch, the middle frog was brown, but I decided to keep the whole design green, so I mixed up a very dark green paint for it instead. I also used a larger brush for this frog, so it was much quicker to paint. I would call this t-shirt very frogcore, an aesthetic I covered a few weeks ago. I love frogs, and already have a self-painted frog t-shirt, but I want another with a different design. Frogs, alongside mushrooms, are a motif I use a lot in my clothing, accessories, and decorations. However, mushrooms definitely appear more often, so I have to rectify that and make more frog stuff. This will be my second frog t-shirt. As of right now, this t-shirt is one of its kind, just made for me to wear and have fun with. However, if this is a design you gremlins really like, I can make more shirts and put them up on my Etsy store. There is already another frog-based design available if you want a frog t-shirt and don't want to wait for a possible future where I might add more. My Etsy is always linked in the description, and it really helps me out if you get something. Anyway, back to the shirt I'm currently painting. Once again, I outlined this frog in an even darker green, then moved on to the final frog, the one holding this whole adorable stack up. The other 2 frogs don't have visible hands, but this bottom frog does. I might be odd, but I really love the look of frog toes, so I had fun drawing 12 of them on this frog. This frog is a shade of green between the first 2. One of the good things about painting a shirt that is entirely shades of green is I didn't have to either clean my paint container or use multiple containers. I just kept adding different paints to the colour from the previous frog, until it created the next colour I needed. This does mean I kind of had a lot of leftover paint at the end, but I have that problem with almost every painting project I start. I'm just not good at estimating how much paint I need for something. It's especially hard to tell when painting clothing, partly because different fabrics soak up the paint differently, and partly because once I get the colour I want, I then have to add even more volume with fabric medium. I outlined this final frog, then added faces to all 3 frogs. I love giving frogs huge black eyes. In fact, one of my favourite species of frog, the black-eyed tree frog, is adorable to me because of its big black eyes. Finally, I made these frogs even cuter, in my opinion, by adding white highlights to the eyes. I didn't let the black paint dry before adding that white, so the highlights are slightly grey, but I couldn't wait to complete this project. And here it is! I'm so happy with the design. It is so bright and cute and happy. I'm in the process of re-embracing brighter shades of green, after turning to more grown-up shades in the last year. I still love wearing more earthy tones, but I want the option to wear bright colours too, and I no longer have as much bright clothing as I did as a kid. This shirt is just part of my journey toward bright colours again. I left this shirt to dry until the next day, then ironed the design, which makes it safe for washing. Then I finally got to try it on. This shirt is super comfy and I love it. Just looking at the design makes me happy, which I think is an important aspect of any graphic t-shirt. Thank you all for coming along with me as I painted this. I had fun and I hope you did too. Next week's video will be back to my normal digital art. Until then, bye!